You've got a friend in Zay. You've got a friend in Zay. When the road looks rough ahead and you're miles and miles from the nice warm bed, you just remember what your old pal said. Yeah, you've got a friend in Zay. Welcome back to another episode of You Got a Friend in Zay, a talk show that I designed it and created to come in here to talk about the true meaning of friendship. How's everybody feeling today? It's a new week. It's Monday, a fresh start. Whew, we're almost done with the month. Thank the Lord. Summertime is around the corner. So that's amazing. And as you guys can see, we do have special guest. I got blood in the house, y'all. I got blood in the house. It's family. I'm so super excited for them to be on the podcast. I have my cousin and his amazing, beautiful girlfriend. She's awesome. Okay, guys. Like I met her and I was like, yep, 10 out of 10. So my cousin is like kind of identical to me. It's kind of crazy. We both sing, we both do music videos, like in the artistic realm and stuff like that, and just producing and stuff like that. And it's just it's weird. I was like, wait a minute, it's the blood.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. My aunt actually, Nancy, she actually told me about you, and she was like, "Oh, yep, that's check. Okay, Booty, follow him on Instagram. That's you." I was like, "Okay, cool." But yeah. And then we have Genesis, pure heart, beautiful soul. I feel like she's a teacher, but I don't know yet. Maybe in the future, and just like an amazing light that everybody needs. And I just can't wait to hear her powerful way that she's going to deliver today. So without further ado, let's welcome in my cousin Rudy and Genesis.
Hello.
Yes, thank you so much for having us. We're excited.
Thank you. Yes.
The
check is in the mail for all the compliments. I
will be looking now.
We are honored to be here. Thank you for having us.
You're welcome. It's an honor to have you guys on the platform. It's like so we're gonna start it off with an icebreaker with the game of what I do with everybody. And then later on we're gonna do the game again, but we're gonna do deeper.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. All right, let me shove it up. All right. Do you sing in the car, or what about the shower?
Who's that one for?
It could be for all of us.
We definitely both do. I do too. I have finally breaking out of being shy about singing in front of him because, like, hello, professional singer. It's in the book. It's just like I don't want to sing around you. But I think I finally got over that now, and it's just like, it's something I just like to do in my alone time or when the song hits, it hits. So both in the shower, both in the car, at least for me, I think.
Yeah,
I definitely sing everywhere.
Everywhere.
Everywhere. I could be walking down the street, I could be driving my car, I could be in the shower, it could be, everywhere I'm singing.
Right, gotta hit the note.
Yeah.
Same here. I sing everywhere I go. If I gotta hit a note, or if it really hit into, yeah, I'm just gonna sing it a little bit, just to get it out. Totally. All right. So we're gonna go ahead and get into the question, the nitty-gritty. Actually, we're gonna get into the nitty-gritty. So I asked the question to everybody. What does it mean to be a friend in yourself, and what is the process of being a friend of yourself?
Ladies first.
So this is actually a new one that I've recently learned. For me, I've been in the process of learning to show myself grace. And I think it's just something you don't think about often, and I realized I had to do that because I just had multiple people telling me like, you're really hard on yourself, and then I realized like, wow, like maybe I am, because I'm so forgiving towards my friends and my family. Like,
Yeah.
why am I being so hard with myself? So it's like, once you start to show yourself grace, it's like you really start stressing less, because you're like,
Yeah.
just on your day to day, like I'm just like, I didn't get this done, I didn't do that, I didn't, whatever it is where I feel like I've fallen short. It's like once I started showing myself grace or treating myself how I would treat a friend,
Yeah.
I was just like, okay, anxiety is going away. Like,
Right.
and it's a hard process, but if you stop yourself and realize like, hey, I wouldn't go off on my friend for either being late or whatever the issue is that day. It's like, if you show that yourself that same grace, it really helps the anxiety
Yeah.
and everything else go down.
Yeah, and then definitely giving yourself praises and complimenting yourself as you go through the process. It helps a long way as well as you're giving yourself grace, because you look at yourself positive more instead of negative. So instead of attracting the negative thoughts, you're attracting the positive thoughts, because you're saying the affirmations in the mornings or saying the affirmation during the day. I have the little positive quotes every morning, and it just pops up and I read it. I'm like, oh yeah, I like that. And then I just go throughout my day. So yeah, that's completely important and much needed for sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it's a little bit different for me, because I kind of battle myself, the two sides of myself,
Mm-hmm.
the the business side,
Mm.
that mentality,
Yeah.
versus the creative side of myself. And
Mm.
so, there are times where I am working all day long, but I don't get to be creative. I don't get to,
Mm.
work on my own music,
Yeah.
or work on, learning more about social media, or,
Mm-hmm.
whatever it is, something fun for myself, or just hanging out, or, having playtime with my daughter, or whatever it is. And I think there is that battle there between the two,
Yeah.
because then I'd get upset with myself for not taking the time to do those things. But then
Mm-hmm.
the business side of me is like, but you got to get it done.
Right.
You have to do that. So there is that battle where I do, as Genesis, have to give myself a little bit of grace, but
Mm-hmm.
more so for me as a, to kind of boil down to the question is just how do I show myself, how my friend basically is, I kind of just like, I don't stress anything. Like, I don't stress the little
Mm.
things anymore. You know,
Nice.
not to a point where I don't get anything done and not care, but
Yeah.
just I don't stress it. It's like, all right, well, if it doesn't get done today, it's okay. There's
Yeah.
tomorrow, you know, and
Yeah.
later on, where before I used to be like, no, I won't sleep, but it's 5 a.m. I don't care. I have to get this last email or do
Yeah.
this last song, you know what I mean? So I think I try to, while I do have goals and I do have things that I want to get accomplished, I also have learned to forgive myself and,
Mm.
um, you know, try to spread that same mentality to everyone else around me. It's like, it's okay. It's not that serious that didn't happen. Let's find
Right.
a positive route. Don't think about it that way. Let's find, and that's how I'm a friend within myself and to others.
That's amazing. I actually love that because I went through that as well with my businesses. I mean, I don't have that much businesses now, but when I did have that as well, I was like, I know I need time for myself, but at the same time, I need to get this money. I gotta make sure this gets done and this and that. So I was literally all around the place. But then I came to a realization. I think said this before. I had an anxiety attack, and I was like, ooh. I was like, let me stop, because then I never had an anxiety attack like I had that moment before where I couldn't just breathe at all. Like I was there, but I couldn't breathe. And I was like, this is not normal. So I had to stop and understand the meaning of rest. And I think that was my biggest problem was if you need a rest, rest. And there's different type of ways to rest: physical, mental rest, artistic rest as well. And just having that, and sometimes just doing nothing. Because as an artist, both of us, we both understand that sometimes we have to do nothing in order to get our nutrients back and all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes you just want to wake up and say, I don't want to do anything except just be for a minute. Just
Right.
want to. And then that's when all of the creativity starts to kick in, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, that's what I needed. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like, there you
I have
go.
a hard time. I have a hard time accepting that sometimes. I'm not gonna lie.
That's
It took
okay.
me what 5, 6 years to go, more than that, 10 years to really go on a vacation.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But like, I've gone, I've driven across the country, whatever, but like a real vacation where we went and like, sat on a beach and actually nothing for, not worried about anything.
Yes.
Yeah.
You basically had to pull my ear to do it. You know what I mean? And it was
Right.
just, wow, I needed this,
Uh-huh. No,
So
for sure. I totally agree. Yeah. Definitely like, and then like solo trips too, because I took a solo trip as well. I never done it before until that one moment. I was like, let me just do it. And then I did it and I was like, I need another one. I was like, this is amazing. Because I did like the state invocation, but I never did it out of state. So when I did it out of state, which was Georgia, I was like, it makes sense. And that's when like all my creative juices and everything just started flowing. Yeah.
Yeah, my creative juices are on road trips. If I get in a car, start driving, I start thinking about everything.
Yes.
Everything. It's literally, I've reshaped, my company, 1 year just because I like took an 8-hour drive to Canada,
Right.
just like by myself, just driving, and I'm like, oh, I have to do this, this, this. Oh, I could do this. Wait a minute, what about this? Rebranded, redid everything, and it was just like, wow, I needed that drive.
Right. I needed that moment of stillness.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
sometimes when you find someone too that you can communicate with that helps you creative juices and helps you, have a different perspective to think, and that helps as well, and you have
Yes.
a friend that actually understands what your needs are as far as, just mentally or on a day-to-day.
Right. Yeah, I think that's super important. Like opposites attract. I would love saying that. I will always say that. Opposites attract. So having that a different perspective and seeing like, oh wait, you didn't see that, but I saw it, and I wanted to point that out, so you can get that perspective and understand what you don't see within yourself. And when you're able to get that perspective, you're like, oh, that makes sense. And that could be a missing piece to the puzzle that you were thinking about or praying about. It's like, there it is. Just because that you have that real true friend or your spouse or, anybody or your family as well. That could just help you out and see you out for who you are and not just your gifts and talents and use you, but they see you for who you are. So
No.
you already know what it is. It's time for a quick self-care tip break. So the tip that I have for you guys is to practice meditation. Now, I know when some people hear the word meditation, sometimes they think it's, witchcraft, satanic, it's a negative force, it's not good. But that's not always true. Meditation can be a positive force. It can be a great use to help with anxiety, depression, to connect with the higher source, and to really just be at peace within yourself, to really get in the depth within yourself as well. It also helps you to be mindfulness. It also helps you to reach a higher level of spiritual awareness as well. There's so many positive aspects, so many benefits that comes with meditation. There is two different type of meditations. There is bad meditation and there is good meditation. So yeah, that is the tip for today, and let's go ahead and get back into the episode.
Yeah, that's definitely like a little, for the couples out there, like don't forget to be each other's friend, because so we have done it many times where it's like we've been there a friend to each other first before a couple, because as a couple you can be very emotional, react emotionally to whatever the other person needs or
Yeah.
is going through, you know, and then you have to take that step back and like, all right, like what would be my real advice if this was just a friend asking or going through this without thinking about how I'm feeling.
Wow.
We've just been lucky to have that beforehand, but you
Yeah.
definitely have it even if like you didn't start out as friends. It's like you can definitely just remember to be each other's friend.
Yep.
Right. I love that you said, how would I say it as a friend, as advice instead of my emotions? Ooh, that was good. Like, because sometimes we do get our emotions, like in any relationship, we get like we feeling some type of way, and like, man, I'm really like, But like when we take a step back, it's like, okay, you know what? If I just said it like this, it would just help switch the atmosphere, switch the emotions and all that stuff, and they will like understand where you're coming from or what they need at the moment as well. That's
Right.
good. So.
Yeah.
All right, so we're
How
gonna
you
get
say
into,
it.
huh?
It's how you say it.
Yeah, it's not what you say, it's how you say it, and it's not what you do, it's how you do it.
Yeah.
Those are my two favorite quotes. I always say it. But yeah, okay, so we're gonna get in the second part of the question. We kind of answered it just a little bit, but it's okay. Um, now that you're learning how to be a friend in yourself and all the little juices and gems, how is it different or how does it portray to your other friends or family or all the other relationships?
Yeah. For
That is a deep
me,
one.
it has been learning how to say no.
Mm,
Okay.
mm,
Because as a friend, you want to be there for everybody and you want to say yes to everything. And
yes.
you know, you just get caught up in this big world of saying yes.
Mm-hmm.
But once I, you know, just starting because I started showing myself grace and saying, you know what, like I really just want to stay home or I really
Mm-hmm.
want that extra hour of sleep today. Um
What's that?
as,
You can sleep.
you know,
Yeah.
once I've chosen that for myself, it's like it really actually allows me to be a better friend because if I force myself to go to something that I don't necessarily really want to be there for, it's like I'm not gonna be my best self and I'm not gonna be the best version of a friend to whoever I'm with in that moment. So it's like by just taking the time to rest, to really mentally clock out of whatever I have to clock out of, in turn allows me to be more present and more there for people that when they actually need me, than just, you know, say yes to everything and everyone and then not be the best version of myself because I'm gonna get cranky. Like if I don't sleep, I'm gonna get cranky. If I'm not eating properly, I'm gonna get cranky. If I'm not, you know, so for me, it has been that. It's like actually showing again myself that grace allows me to be the best version as a girlfriend, as a friend, and just to everyone around me.
No, I totally agree. I struggle with that as well. I have a big heart and then I'm a giver. And so I tend to always say yes to everything, or I say yes to this. Yeah, it'll be fine. And it's like, no, man, you need to just say no and you'll be all right. Yeah. So it's important to know when to say no. Because especially if it benefits you, it benefits the relationship and it benefits the person as well. They will understand as well why you're saying no, and they'll just understand the actual of where your mindset is, where you're physically are, and how much you've been doing throughout the week and how much you've been doing out the month, and they'll understand. Okay, yeah, you've been working and doing so much. I'm okay if you say no, or you could just relax and we'll schedule another time to hang out or whatever it is, you know. So.
Yeah. Like it's so beautiful when people are like, it's okay, I understand. And you're like, oh my God, you do. Like, oh, okay. And it's just like, you know, it reflects that love back to you. And then it teaches you like, hey, it's okay. Like you can not do that if you don't want to do that.
Exactly. You don't put pressure or sad about it. Yeah. Totally understand. Yeah. All right, Rudy, you next in line.
Hey, all right. Well, I think that I feel the same way. The thing for me is, for those out there who are worried about saying no, or are worried about, I'm not a good friend because I didn't show up in that moment. There's always that hesitation, but I think that we need to realize as humans that we're not superhuman. We're not perfect. We're not gonna always be able to do. And the biggest struggle for me is, I always tell myself that I need to put myself in a position that I can help myself first. And once I'm able to help myself, I can help everyone else around me.
Exactly.
Because I'm not gonna show up when you're hungry with an empty plate.
Yeah.
Right? If you're hungry, I need to be able to put food on my table, to be able to give you something to eat from that food.
Come on now.
So for me, that was one of the biggest struggles. But the way it translates to others, it's not always going to be roses. It's not always going to be their understanding. It's not always going to be, I've dealt with that with family members who, want to either borrow money, or they need my time. What do you mean you can't come pick me up? And it's, well, I'm running a business. I also have a daughter. I also, have things that I have to do and that I've planned. And what you want me to do is not an emergency.
Exactly.
There's Uber, there's buses, there's trains, there's planes. You can find a way to get there without me.
Right.
Because it's not an emergency. And that's something that, all of us struggle with, but that's something that everyone needs to understand, that if someone says no, it doesn't mean that they don't love you. It just means that in that moment, they don't have the capacity to help in the way that you're asking them to help you.
Agree.
So if we're going to be able to, accept or be a friend within ourselves and be able to say no to others, we should also be able to accept a no as well, and look within ourselves and say, hey, that person said no to me. Doesn't mean that they don't love me. It just means right now there's something else going on that they can't do for me.
Right.
I need them to do, and vice versa. They need to see that as well. I don't know if that answered the question or not, but that was kind of what I was feeling.
No, it did. That was really, really good. Like, I love that. Especially I love how you ended off too, like understanding that you have to be able to accept it as well. Accept a no from somebody else as well. Oh, dang, and I just watched a TikTok of somebody saying this too. I forgot how they said it though. Dang it. But basically how you said it, being able to accept it. Because if you can't accept it, then you won't be able to accept it from yourself and able to say it to no to other people. So powerful. That was good. You ate and left no qualms. I ain't nothing else to say. All right, so we'll get into the last question of the podcast. So is there a spiritual aspect of being a friend in yourself?
Okay. You want me to go first?
Yeah. Same record.
So yes, definitely yes. For me, that looks a little differently. Almost every week, sometimes just every other month. I really try to, I guess, listen to myself and what either my mental or my emotions are asking for in that moment. Sometimes it's praying, sometimes it's just affirmation, sometimes it's reading, sometimes it's writing. But I really, to me, it's like whatever I feel like I'm drawn to, I guess, in that week. Like, if it's like the universe, or if it's whatever it's going on, like I just see it in different ways. Like I said, like either sometimes it's praying, sometimes it's simply feeling like I need to be by the beach and like be one with the sound of the ocean, and that's what brings me back to myself, or being back to the present moment. So to me, it looks a little bit different every now and then, but it's definitely like a spiritual journey.
Yeah, I love that you said that it was different, because I think with, like, for those people who hate when I say this, the religions aspect, because it's always the same, but definitely in the spiritual realm, it's different because there's so many shifts, there's so many changes that are happening within the atmosphere within yourself as well. That you have to adapt to what's going on and adapt to what's going on within yourself as well in order to grow into be a beautiful flower that you plant. Yeah, and then I just recently drew a picture as well of the evaporation and then elevating. So like it recycles the whole time, you're evaporating out into the atmosphere and then you're elevating to higher power and getting all the nutrients from the higher power as well. So you can be able to bring it back down and sow a seed or provide the water that the plants and the nutrients and all that stuff that you need in that seed. And just be a blessing into other people's lives as well. So it's very important to just always take a second, and understand and I love how you said what my emotions and what my mental physically need throughout the week, that moment. Might have to do that.
That's the
Well, I know
Gemini.
you did.
That's the Gemini in her, though. The multiple personalities needs something different, throw something different.
Yeah, else down here and there. Yeah. No, I'd say that's that. I think as an artist too, we need different things too as well. Like different sounds, different pictures, different environments, different, yeah. Especially nature tools.
100%, 100%. For me, there's definitely a huge spiritual aspect to basically everything I do.
Yeah.
But I look at as an artist, we know that we need certain different things. Like environment changes, different sounds, certain things. But the things that we don't need, we're very like, I don't need that. Like it's black and white. It's straight up. This is not what I need. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we're very what's the word? Is it convicted? No. We're very
structured? No.
Yeah, I guess structured in that way as artists, and headstrong that way, because we know what turns us off and kills creativity and kills the mood for us. Like, like certain things like would kind of hurt whatever the mood is in that moment. It's just like why is this happening? Like,
right.
Like, why do you have to go there? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And as an artist, that does affect our day-to-day in that aspect. However, for me, I think the greatest thing and the greatest lesson that I've ever learned, there's two of them. When I was doing martial arts, and my at the time, I hate this word, but it is in the martial arts world. My master at the time, used to say, the greatest weapon we have is to be able to control our own mind and our own.
Yes.
And if you can't control your mind and you can't control your body, you can't control your emotions. You can't control your environment. You can't control what happens to you.
Yeah.
So he brought this picture to me, brought this light to me and saying, like, if something happens to you, so what? Don't give it power.
Right.
Right. And that was very strong for me. Like, it always stuck in my mind, and that's one of the lessons. The other thing was, which ties into that lesson I learned, is I always look at things with optimism. I always look at things in a positive way. Right. So I look at, if I drop my glass and it breaks, it's now a piece of art. It's not a broken glass anymore. It's a piece of art,
Right.
If I look at, oh, you know what? A client didn't book us. that's okay. That means someone else is gonna book a bigger option that day.
Right.
Or we're gonna get multiple jobs that day, you know.
Mm-hmm. Thank you guys for listening to part 1 of Giving Yourself Grace. Part 2 will be out next week on SoundCloud and on YouTube. I am super excited for you guys to listen to the next part. It is really good. It gets deep. It gets so make sure you come back and keep a lookout on part 2 of Giving Yourself Grace. Bye guys.